تعتبر العلاقات الكويتية الإيطالية نموذجاً للتعاون الدبلوماسي والاقتصادي المتين بين دولتين تجمعهما قيم مشتركة ورؤية لتعزيز الاستقرار والتنمية. منذ تأسيس العلاقات الدبلوماسية في عام 1964 شهد التعاون بين الكويت وإيطاليا تطوراً كبيراً في مختلف المجالات، بما في ذلك التجارة والثقافة والتعليم. على الصعيد السياسي تتميز العلاقات بين الكويت وإيطاليا بالتفاهم والتنسيق في القضايا الدولية، إذ تدعم إيطاليا الجهود الكويتية في تعزيز الأمن والاستقرار في منطقة الخليج، بينما تقدر الكويت مواقف إيطاليا الداعمة للقضايا الإنسانية والتنموية. كما يعمل البلدان ضمن إطار الأمم المتحدة لتعزيز السلام وحل النزاعات الدولية، مع التركيز على الدبلوماسية والحوار. وتبرز مواقفهما المشتركة في الدفاع عن حقوق الإنسان ومواجهة التحديات العالمية مثل التغير المناخي ومكافحة الإرهاب. تعد إيطاليا شريكا اقتصاديا هاما للكويت، إذ تحتل مكانة بارزة في صادرات النفط الكويتي، بينما تعرف إيطاليا بتصدير المعدات الثقيلة والأزياء الفاخرة والمركبات إلى الكويت. كما شهدت السنوات الأخيرة نمواً في الاستثمارات الكويتية داخل الأراضي الإيطالية، لا سيما في القطاع العقاري والسياحي. وعلى الصعيد الثقافي تحرص سفارتا البلدين على تعزيز التبادل الثقافي من خلال تنظيم معارض وفعاليات تسلط الضوء على التراث الغني لكل منهما، كما أن التعاون في مجالات التعليم والبحث العلمي يعكس التزام الجانبين ببناء جيل جديد يعزز هذه العلاقات. ومع استمرار الجهود الدبلوماسية تواصل الكويت وإيطاليا العمل معا لبناء شراكات أعمق تعزز مكانتهما على الساحة الدولية وتفتح آفاقا جديدة للتعاون.
أهلا بكم. اليوم ننزل ضيوفا هنا في مقر إقامة السفير الإيطالي لدى الكويت لورنزو موريني. على طاولة الحوار سنتحدث معه عن آفاق التعاون العسكري، الدفاعي والاستثماري بين إيطاليا والكويت، وسنأخذ منه وجهة نظر بلاده حيال الحرب على غزة، وسنتحدث معه أخيرا حول أزمة المهاجرين التي تعاني منها إيطاليا. كل هذه الأمور والمحاور سنناقشها مع لورنزو موريني السفير الإيطالي لدى الكويت، لكن بعد قليل. أهلا بكم من جديد. يبدأ في هذه اللحظة حوارنا مع ضيفنا ومستضيفنا سعادة السفير الإيطالي لدى الكويت السيد لورنزو موريني. Your Excellency, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Your Excellency, I'd like to begin with the bilateral investments between Kuwait and Italy. I'd like to have your take on Italy's steps to expand its investments in Kuwait and at the same time attracting Kuwaiti investments into Italian economy sectors like technology and tourism.
Yes, well, it's a very important moment in the international scenario. We have the economy is undergoing big changes. We are facing new technologies, new challenges, artificial intelligence, transition towards climate sustainable economy, and we are all committed in trying to find synergies with our partners. I think that Italy and Kuwait have a lot of common ground in terms of interest of developing common investment, common challenges, to face common challenges. And there are a lot of Italian companies that are interested in investing in Kuwait because Kuwait has some, let's say, some characteristics that are very important, like low price of energy, for instance, There is a stable climate, climate in terms of economic and political situation, and also in terms of climate in general, because here it's hot, but at least it's not, it's always more or less is stable in the sense that it's not changing very much. So this is something that the companies are taking into deep consideration. We have companies that are looking to export technology, export expertise in Kuwait, because they believe that here there are opportunities to create new endeavors, new companies, especially we have a lot of startups, a lot of small and medium enterprises that are looking at Kuwait. The fact that there are small and medium enterprises is both an opportunity and a challenge. Because opportunity because they have technologies, they have expertise that are unique. A challenge because they are not used to invest abroad. So in this sense, what we are trying to do is to attract Kuwaiti investors through mechanisms like funds, like investment funds, like business B2B meetings, to meet with Italian potential companies, potential investors here in Kuwait and create partnership. So more than investing in one country on the other, I would like to call it as a partnership that we're looking for.
Now, talking about bilateral cooperation when it comes to defense, given Italy's advanced industry in defense, how do you think Italy has gone with Kuwait in terms of reinforcing this military cooperation? How far has your relationship gone?
Very well, very well. We have a big program here. You know, we are providing the Air Force of Kuwait with the Eurofighter. But we are also cooperating with Kuwaiti armed forces in other sectors. And more than that, we have Italian people here, Italian military people here, working with Kuwaiti personnel, and we have Kuwaiti representatives in Italy working with Italian personnel there. So in the last, let's say, 10 years, we have grown a very close relationship, collaboration between the two armed forces. On top of it, we also have important number of military people, Italian people, here in the framework of the Inherent Resolve operation of the United Nations, around 300 people, personnel. And also they have established very good collaboration with the Kuwaiti armed forces. So I would like to say that it's a synergetic situation in which we learn from each other, we understand our different approaches towards security, and we are establishing a cooperation that is much more deep and much more, let's say, fruitful than in the past. It's not just selling equipment or buying equipment, it's the training that comes with it. It's the fact that we have a facility that has been built by an Italian company here and is managed by Italian people daily with pilots and military people from Kuwaiti armed forces operating in the defense of the country. So it's, we are technicians, ground technicians. We have a lot of pilots and a lot of personnel that has been trained in Italy. So it's really something very complete, a 360-degree collaboration that we are carrying out.
Everyone knows that Italy is a country renowned for its cultural heritage. What is Italy's role in fostering cultural exchanges with Kuwait so that they can re-enhance and reinforce the diplomatic ties and the bilateral understanding between the two countries?
We have a tradition of cooperation with Kuwait in specific sectors. We have 2 archaeological missions here. We have a long-lasting cooperation in the field of architecture, for instance, with Kuwait. And I think that we are in a position to provide to Kuwait other expertise that we are very happy to share. Restoration of, or conservation of cultural heritage, creative industries. So we have a lot of things that we can share with Kuwait. The problem that we have is in my opinion, the lack of knowledge of the Italian language by Kuwaiti students and the lack of knowledge of Arabic language from Italian students. This is a big gap that we have to fill in the future. And I hope that we together we can work towards a better comprehension of our differences and our different opportunities that we have.
Sure. Let's move on to the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, Your Excellency. I'm talking specifically about the war on Gaza and what has been happening in Lebanon. What is Italy's standpoint of view when it comes to the war on Gaza?
Look, we are very concerned for what is going on, and we are very active in the humanitarian field. We are cooperating with all international organizations and also with Kuwait in delivering help to the affected people. And we are pushing all the concerned parties to stop the violence and to have a dialogue. We call for the implementation of the UN resolutions. Two-state solution is the only way forward. So I think the Italian position is very clear, and we are much aligned with a lot of partners in believing that only dialogue, only mutual understanding will help solve this terrible situation nowadays. And we're ready to help in any possible way.
And regarding the ceasefire in Lebanon, do you think it is going the way it should be?
Look, I mean, we have military personnel in Lebanon. Italian armed forces are in the UNIFIL contingent in Lebanon, and we are very worried because our people is there.
Yeah.
But we are not gonna move them. We are not gonna recall them because we believe that it's important to implement the UN resolution also in Lebanon.
So there's no way Italy is withdrawing its forces from the UNIFIL?
No, absolutely. Our intention is to keep doing our job. Our intention is to maintain our stance that is being always in line with the UN resolutions and with the international community position. Now, regarding the ceasefire, obviously everything could be better. Everything can be improved. But I think step by step we are going towards the positive solution of the immediate crisis.
Moving on to Russia-Ukraine issue, as Europe seeks alternatives to Russian energy, I'd love to have, from Your Excellency, Italy's plans to expand its energy partnerships with the GCC countries and in particular with Kuwait.
Look, so we are working in different directions. First of all, you have to remember that our final goal is the transition, the climate transition. So we are moving towards renewable energies. To go towards renewable energies, we are little by little reducing the dependence on oil. And we're moving in a transitional phase towards natural gas. This is why in the first few months after the Ukrainian crisis, we signed new agreement with Algeria and other providers of natural gas, like namely Norway and the Netherlands, to provide us with the necessary amount of gas to
replace the Russian.
Yes, because Russia was the first provider of natural gas of Italy.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays, we also have witnessed that Libya is going back towards a normal situation, and we are restarting to import oil and natural gas from Libya. We have two pipelines, more than two actually, pipelines connecting ourselves with our country with Libya, and that are not fully used since the crisis during the 2011 Arab Springs.
Yeah.
Then there are a lot of investments in Egypt and a lot of investment in Azerbaijan by Italian companies, also in natural gas. When we look at the GCC, we know that the main production of GCC is oil more than natural gas.
Yeah.
But we are very interested in what is going on here now in the market. And traditionally, we don't have a lot of import from the GCC countries because we don't have pipelines connecting our regions. We do have transport by boat, by ships. But nowadays, with the Houthi situation, and it's also very complicated.
Yeah.
So in this phase, I would say that there is a process, an ongoing process, and we are looking forward to start working with the GCC partners also in the exploring new opportunities in the terms of production of natural gas and other renewable energies.
Yes. Now, Italy is a very key player in the European Union, and I'd love again to have your take on Italy's role in shaping the foreign policy of the EU, especially again with the Gulf region. How does Italy play that role?
Look, we are, as you said, one of the major players. The bigger countries are always been the major players in Europe: Italy, Germany, France, Spain, Poland.
Almost the decision makers, almost.
Yes, it's also a matter of putting all. We are 27 different members, and 27 different visions sometimes of foreign policy. So we have to join our forces, our ideas, and to try to find a common ground. Italy has always been among the most strong supporters of the Mediterranean vision of the European Union. We need to create bonds with our partners in the Mediterranean. For us, it's a vital issue. It's a cornerstone of our foreign policy since after the Second World War. But in general terms, we believe that building a bridge with the Mediterranean countries, the Southern Mediterranean countries and the Eastern Mediterranean countries is fundamental, because we are part of the same culture, of the same, let's say, common cultural heritage, and we have a lot of common interests, especially stability, economic growth, and fight against poverty, which is the main goal of all of our countries. So Italy is pushing very hard for a bigger role of the GCC and of all the Mediterranean in the foreign policy of the European Union. But as I mentioned at the beginning, we have to deal with different visions and we have to find a common ground.
Yes. Now, I'm not making any breaking news when I say that Italy is at the heart of the migration crisis. And I do know this is a very, very delicate situation.
Yeah.
That's why I need to know from Your Excellency how Italy plans to balance between humanitarian responsibilities and border security issues. It is very hard to do that. How is Italy dealing with this situation?
Well, look, first of all, what is going on is a humanitarian crisis. It's not a migration crisis, in my opinion. Because many of the migrants that are reaching the coast of Italy, the coast of Europe, are really under big distress because of wars, because of hunger, because of climate change. So the problem is to avoid the need for these people to flee. They're desperate. They're desperate.
Of course.
So we need to help them, and this is in their countries, and this is the core business of Italian investment in what is called the Piano Mattei. Piano Mattei is a big project, or a series of projects, that we are launching looking for the support of international partners, among them Kuwait, and of international institutions. We just received an information that in the African Development Bank there will be a new fund created under the label of Piano Mattei. And the Piano Mattei is to try to collect and to rationalize and to complement all the efforts of the international community to help the countries that are most affected by instability, climate crisis, hunger, and poverty in general. So when you do that, then you can better fight against the human trafficking phenomena, which is at the basis of illegal migration. The problem is not the people willing to, or it's not just the people that willing to reach Europe. The problem is the people that are using this desperation to gain money.
Well, that's a fine line between the two sides.
It's difficult.
Yes.
It's very difficult, But we have to cooperate with the local authorities also in terms of border control, because in the border areas we had a recent meeting here of the GCT, the Counterterrorism Global Forum in Kuwait, focused on the border security, because the border areas are the most exposed to terrorism and to criminality, international criminality. If you want to cross the Mediterranean, you have to pay illegally. You have to pay 2,000 euros to a trafficker, an organization trafficking people. So the point is, this 2,000 euros multiplied by the 100,000 people that crosses the Mediterranean every year, it's
huge number.
It's a huge amount of money, and that money is all going to criminal organization. So fighting the criminal organization is fundamental to tackle the problem. So it's, as you said, it's a fine line. Yeah. It's difficult to put together all the pieces. We are trying to find a solution, but it's something that we need to find together with the country concerned, the origin, transit, and destination countries, because all the three aspects are fundamental. Every passage is fundamental.
Exactly. Your Excellency, I'd like to have a little bit of a break, and then we will be back with a bit friendlier things to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. مشاهدينا، هذا فاصل قصير، نعود من بعده لنستأنف حوارنا في محاور ودية وشخصية بعض الشيء مع سعادة السيد لورنزو موريني، سفير الجمهورية الإيطالية لدى الكويت. نلتقي بعد قليل. أهلا بكم من جديد في هذه الحلقة من السفير، التي ننزل فيها ضيوفا على سعادة السفير الإيطالي لدى الكويت لورنزو موريني. Your Excellency, thank you again for being here. I'd like to ask you about now your personal stuff, if I might say so. You've been here for more than a year, a little bit, maybe 14 months, and this is your first ambassadorial role, as I understand. How do you find life as an ambassador and in an Arab country as peculiar as Kuwait?
The life of an ambassador is a very busy life. I discovered that I have no time for private life, almost no time for private life. Especially, I have no time for, let's say, a routine, because every day you have a different event, and I'm always committed to participate to all the things that I have to do here in Kuwait. National days, events organized by the Kuwaiti governments, and even celebrations that are happening.
Other embassies,
and Diwaniyas, because Diwaniyas are a big part of the life.
You do visit Diwaniyas?
Sometimes, yes, when I have the time. The problem is that it's almost impossible to be everywhere at the same time. Is there just one ambassador and for each country, and there is a big demand of our participation everywhere. So on top of it, Kuwait is a very peculiar country, as you mentioned, because you're very welcoming, you're very open. So it's easy for me to be invited to gatherings or events or even familiar gatherings from Kuwaiti people.
Just to have food.
Yes, to have food, to know, to be part of the family, to be part of the friendship that is built around the international community. So, and I speak with all the ambassadors, and they are in the same situation. We have been invited. We are invited to a lot of even private events, and sometimes it's difficult to say no, because because you care of the people that you're invited by, or because it's something very important socially, or also in terms of the job that you're doing. So it's a never-ending series of commitments, and to be honest, is very. How do you say? I'm not getting bored in any way, and it's very satisfying. It's making me very interested in my job here.
But it's very tough. I mean, not having a personal life is something weird. How do you balance that and this? I mean, do you do sports, for example? Do you Did you have friends, like
yes,
Italian
I mean,
friends?
Yeah, no, yes. I mean, I have friends. I try to keep contact with my friends in Italy, and I have friends here in Kuwait. I have Kuwaiti friends.
Good.
Because I established friendship very immediately with Kuwaiti people. A lot of them, actually. And I'm very surprised because I've been in many countries before, and it was not so easy to establish from the very beginning very good friendship with local people. Sports, I'm trying to. I'm trying to. During the weekend, yes. I do sports, but when I'm not too tired to...
Oh, yeah, after long days. Yeah,
yes, but you know, it's difficult to find every day at a certain time your time. Sometimes you say, okay, today I have 1 hour free and I go to the gym. But you cannot program that with a lot of advance,
Of
so
course,
it's difficult.
The Red Bench initiative, I think that was the mastermind behind this was the Foreign Ministry, the Italian Foreign Ministry. How was the echo for this initiative in Kuwait?
Oh, I think very big, very big. I received a lot of phone calls, a lot of messages, WhatsApp messages from friends congratulating me for the initiative. Yes, it is an idea that came up by I mean, let's say from the words of Minister Tajani, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, because the Red Bench is an initiative that is very known in Italy. And he said, why don't we try to export that also in the rest of the world through our embassies? And I think there are at least 50, 60 embassies in the world that have this Red Bench already. I think the most important point is it's awareness. For us, for ourselves, we have to remind ourselves every day that there is a problem, and that we have to work together towards a solution of this problem.
Just so that our viewers know, we're talking about the initiative that is concerned with raising the awareness regarding violence against women.
Violence against women, yes, exactly. So the Red Bench represents the empty spot left by a woman that has been victim of a killing by a loved person sometimes, many times, unfortunately. So it's raising awareness on the issue of the violence against women is very important because we don't even realize sometimes how women are every day put under very big doses of violence around the world. Yesterday I was at an event at the UN House here in Kuwait, and they said that 1 over 3 women, a third of a woman, experience violence in
one way or other.
One way or another during her life. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is terrible. Not to talk about the frequent discrimination against women, because even in the Western world, they don't receive the same amount of money for the salaries as men. They don't have the same career opportunities. They are not employed because they have children. So it's an approach, a cultural approach that we have to change all around the world.
Your Excellency, it's been a huge pleasure talking to you. Thank you again for hosting us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me in your show, and I'm happy to be here in Kuwait and to give my opinion to the Kuwaiti public.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. مشاهدينا، كان هذا حوارنا مع ضيفنا سعادة السفير الإيطالي لدى الكويت لورنزو موريني. حتى نلتقي مع ضيف كريم آخر، تقبلوا تحياتي وإلى اللقاء.